Okay, here we go. I think you can hear me, right? You guys can hear me okay? Let me know ones in the chat. Took away my one little get to go thing that I used to have over here on the side. So I'm gonna check my stats on the stream, make sure everything's running okay. How come I don't see it showing the stuff? Is it not showing the stuff? Let me check and see. Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, it's showing my stuff. Oh yeah, it's showing my stuff. All right, good to go. All right, here we go. So we got that going. We got this going, and this going where I can be seen. You guys see me okay? Then it brings up this other stuff that I got in the background. What I could do about that. Mm-mm-mm. Display capture. We'll take out display capture for now, and I'll should have it over and through here. There, you guys can see me. Studio. Collector's Dream, what's going on? Hello, Orlando. I'm just trying to get this all set up because I was gonna talk about the movies tonight. Just gonna get into the subject matter of some films, things that I've seen, and different stuff. I've got my what is this called? Letterboxed. I've got the letterboxed up. I need to have myself up in there so you guys can see me too. I think what I'll do is we'll stop cam in my StreamYard for a second so I can bring up over here. Should have it. Sorry, guys. Where is it? It's very strange. Oops. It's not cooperating with me. So it's back in this thing. I'm trying to get it over to the other side so we can have everyone come in. Might have to use it from the side. Stukes, what's going on? It's Saturday night at the movies. If I could get it going, I was gonna showcase the different stuff. Usually I don't have the StreamYard set up like that, so maybe I'll just go ahead and stop the StreamYard altogether. All right, and then just bring back up this thing over here. What's that bringing up? Oh, this one. There I am. Now you guys can see me okay. All right, that'll work. There's the StreamYard. So if you guys want to come on, let me know so I could put you in the StreamYard, and then we can run it that way. I might go back. Does anyone want to jump in with me? Stukes, did you want to jump in? Let me know. I could send you the StreamYard link. This is on Letterboxd. You can start it off with what you've seen and go back with the older movies. So I'm still going through all my movies that I've seen, and then one of the best movies of all time is The Passion of Joan of Arc, 1928. And I wrote a little review over here, giving it the full star treatment. And there's my review right there. Masterpiece of anguish and faith. Dreyer's direction is masterful and artistic. Every detail is finely tuned. And the performance of Falconetti, that's the actress, fully captures the pain, anguish, and faith of Joan of the Arc. The film begins at the time of Joan of Arc. It was captured in England, depicting her trial and execution. Many parts of this film are historically accurate, and seeing her meet such a tragic ending is gut-wrenching. So this is the OG Joan of Arc 1, The Passion of Joan of Arc, that came out in 1928 by Carl Theodor Dreyer. La Passion de Jeanne d'Arc. So that's the one that's really, really good. Man, it still holds up today from 1928. all the way to today. It really holds up really well. So I like that one a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. If you've not seen it, it's one I definitely recommend checking out. Passion of Joan of Arc. Let me see what other stuff I got in here real quick, and then we're going to take a look at the 80s films, and you guys can help me rank some of these. And if any of you want to come on the stream, let me know, and I'll put up the StreamYard link for you. Where's the StreamYard link? I got to go grab it. Go grab it and see. Before it gets me all this stuff. All right. There you guys go. StreamYard link. Now, if you wanted to jump in with me, you can. Just let me know if you're in there. I think because I got to have mine entered without the camera mic. But then you guys can come in, and I'll put you over here to the side or something like that. You guys can hear me okay, right? Yeah, I'm sure you can. I played it a little bit earlier, and you guys could hear me okay. All right, so we'll get back into this. I just watched this 2024 stuff, and I got a bunch of it going. I hope you guys can see all the different things I had for 2024. And some of this stuff I'm still getting through. I'm still going to be watching to check out. Now, this is a new release, this Atlas with Jennifer Lopez. I got to watch that next. This is The Blind. This isn't just called Blind. It's called The Blind, and it's not this movie that it's showing right there. It's actually the story about the, what's those guys called? The duck, whatever. You know, the duck guys with the duck calls, those guys. This is the Blue Angels. I went and watched that. I've got Hitman that I watched with Glenn Powell. Man, I'm liking this Curious Caterer is pretty fun. We'll get into the 1980s. I have a lot of stuff just off the bat that's in my movies, 1980s. You can see a lot of different 80s films in through here. Burbs, Abyss, Alien Nation, Aliens, Amazing Grace, and Chuck. And a lot of people haven't seen this one before, but it's a really good movie about a young man who befriends a basketball player, and he becomes like a activist, and it's just anti-war, anti-nuclear message, nuclear war message. Annie, of course, the musical was fun. Batman, Back to the Future, Back to School, Atlantic City. Not very many people have seen this. It's kind of like Coen Brother-ish, so it's a lot of fun. Make sure we got everything. Hey, Montoya, what's good? Montoya, you want to jump in the stream with me? Let me know. I got the StreamYard up for anyone that wants to jump in and let me know what movies they wanted to talk about. Arthur is a silly comedy, but it's all right. Armed and Dangerous from the 1986. I love this crazy comedy because it's just zany and silly. Big Business, more comedy stuff. The 80s had a lot of comedies. A lot of these movies were funny as all get out. Like Bill and Ted, Brewster's Millions is one of my favorites. Then you had this movie, The Caller, that came out in '87, and this is the movie with the surprise ending that no one in the world could see coming. And Blowout is really interesting with John Travolta in it. Coal Miner's Daughter, based on a true story there. Cloak and Dagger. Dabney Coleman just passed away. This is a really good kind of fantasy film because he's kind of putting his thoughts into how Dabney Coleman is like his father figure and a super spy and helping him through scary situations. Christmas Vacation was one of my favorite Christmas movies. I really love Chariots of Fire. And it's just a really good movie about the Olympics. And Cat's Eye. There was tons of different thriller and horror stuff that came out in the 80s. Carbon Copy was an interesting Denzel Washington movie. It's not a great movie, but it's really interesting. So I enjoy going back to it from time to time and checking it out. The way that they made it, George Segal is always really good in whatever he's starring in. So that was a lot of fun watching that. I liked it a lot. Let me see. Check in with the chat and see what you guys. You've seen Atlantic City, Montoya? Montoya gets down for the movies then. She saw Atlantic City. Not too many people have checked it out. And what else we got? Cocoon. And I made this little list over here. Take a look at this one right here. Some of the 1980s, like more film friendly films, I guess, would be Nostalgia, Decalogue, Tanner 88, Amazing Grace and Chuck, Threads, Testament, Without a Trace, King of Comedy, Prime Suspect, Chariots of Fire, Ordinary People, Thief. You'd probably put in there Come and See and Showa, The Dresser, Baby. Let's see, Baby, It's You. And there's like if you're talking about 1980s artsy films, this is your list right there, kind of. There's a couple others, like some people would add Blue Velvet or whatever, but some of those aren't necessarily my favorites. And if you're taking a look at what was the some of the essential stuff of the fan favorite, you have Die Hard, Coming to America, Trading Places, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Back to the Future, Field of Dreams, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, just to name a few of kind of like the essential fan favorite films of the 80s. Let me know in the chat what are some of you guys' fan favorite films of the 1980s. And I could throw that up on screen as we could take a look at that. This goes decade by decade on here. And I want to go click on the 1980s decade. Let's see if it'll let me here. 1980s. So it says I've watched 402. You've watched 402 films released in the 1980s, or whatever I've cataloged is the 402. And this is Eddie Murphy's Delirious. Again, the comedies were fantastic in the 80s. Like Delirious and Raw are pretty funny, epic stand-up routines. They're what I consider really legit comedies. Collector's Dream. Brian's Song is one of my favorites. Brian's Song that came out in what was that? Was the James Caan one, right? Let's see. James Caan was in Thief, directed by Michael Mann. If we click on James Caan, I gave Thief, the all-star treatment. This is an excellent movie if you haven't already seen it. It's a heist movie. One of Michael Mann's best ones too. Let's see. Didn't he do Brian's Song? There it is. This Brian's Song, right? Not the 71 version or the remake, because I know there's some remakes. Here's the 71 version of Brian's Song, based on a real life story, and it starred James Caan and Billy D. Williams. Came out in 71. I have a 4K copy of this actually, but it's an upscaled, I think, something like that. So it was a HD and then it became 4K copy. It looks pretty neat. I want to show off this other one too. Now this is the ones I haven't seen. Like I didn't watch. Okay, you have Brian's Song, and then you have Brian's Song from 2001, and I did not see the 2001 version. Who does it star? Mekhi Phifer and Sean Maurer. Did anyone watch this one? Will Brian ever get a letterboxed? There are two Brian songs made, but which is better? the the reviews on here on Letterboxd can be kind of strange sometimes. I never know what I'm going to come across whenever you start reading the reviews because sometimes it's just people's random thoughts. They don't really necessarily put it together all that well. This is some of the people that I follow on here. Zachary has his own channel, and he just went to go see Inside Out 2. I was at the theater, the IMAX, yesterday, and it was packed. There was a bazillion people in there to watch the Inside Out 2. Me, I went to go see. Hold up, I was just checking if anyone jumped in the studio with me. I have to check out the new one. That one, Orlando, you like the Brian song? Yeah, I got you. That's a good one though. And this, I saw the TV glow. I don't know what that's about. He gave it 4 stars on the Inside Out 2. Marcus Warner, that's Vita. If Vita phone shows up in here, he was saying he was ready to talk to me on here too. We'll put him on the screen. Um, he did a rating on Run Lola Run recently. American Hustle for Collector Movie Man. Collector Movie Man comes in here sometimes. For Batman, he gave 3.5 stars. American Hustle he gave 4. Of course, Inside Out. Zachary was loving some Inside Out. Let's check and see what else. These are some ones that just dropped at the theater. Friends versus You on what? Oh, they wrote some reviews too. So Zachary wrote some reviews for it. Collector Man looks like he did too. Wrote reviews. Yeah, I wrote this little review for the Passion of Joan of Arc, The Stolen Jewels, which this was a Hollywood charity film from 1931, and it has I think it's free to watch too. Like, so, a lot of public domain stuff. I don't think it's one of those things you can't look at. Um, but Hollywood charity film. Nearly every 1930s era actor and actress make a cameo in this film, created for a tuberculosis charity. Stolen Jewels plot is paper thin, but it's all for a good cause. Seeing our gang, Laurel and Hardy, and dozens of other 30s era superstars was fun, reminiscent of cartoon all-stars to the rescue, the 80s star-studded animated project during the Just Say No anti-drug campaign. So then back in the 80s, they made this Just Say No anti-drug campaign cartoon called Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, and it had like Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, Donald Duck, the Ghostbusters. So it took every single cartoon that was like popular in the 80s at the time and Smurfs and had them all in the same cartoon together saying, just say no to drugs. This Stolen Jewels movie is the same thing. It's just nonstop cameos of all the celebrities of 1930s. So Edward G. Robinson, Shirley Temple, the list just goes on and on. So yeah, if you wanted to check it out, it's not that long. I think it's like 20 minutes maybe. And it was cool enough, so I enjoyed looking at it. And then I added a bunch of time travel stuff into my watch list that I have to check out later. And this is the time travel stuff. Any of this stuff that I'm behind on. And I've currently clocking. I know I got to get to my 5,000 movies that I watched. I'm currently clocking at 2,351 films. There was one person on here I saw that had like listed 8,000 films they had seen. Good night. That's a lot of films. Y'all went over above and beyond. Empire Strikes Back, Being There, Wild Strawberries, The Secret Dare to Dream. These are some of my favorites. Montoya, your list is up there on there too. If you want to, let's see, where's Montoya's list at? Oh, you've been busy? 442 films you got listed off. Recent likes: Sin City, Rope, Poltergeist, and Insomnia. And oh, you got Civil War you haven't checked out just yet. That should be good though. Let me check if there's anyone in the StreamYard. Nobody yet. Back over here. Have you still not seen what's his name just yet? Hold up, I'm going over here. What'd you rate the Poltergeist movie? Let me see the activity part so it'll say what you rated it at. You got Rope with the full star treatment and Poltergeist with the 4. That makes sense. Those are some pretty good ratings. Gran Torino. Yeah, these are some real good ratings, Montoya. You did good. I think I agree a lot with these ratings. Are pretty solid looking to me. Aviator, Final Destination. Oh, you enjoyed Some Like It Hot? I can't mess with that movie. I don't like that movie. Some Like It Hot. No. If anyone else want to jump in the chat, the StreamYard's up. If you want to come on. And then we got, what was this in? Oh, this was the ones that we had going for the 80s, right? Diner. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It was a pretty decent little drama. It's one of the most popular films of all time was E.T. Dune was this is the original Dune, and I prefer it to the modern Dune because neither one are accurate via the book. So a lot of times when I'm watching, I'm like, well, this isn't book accurate though. Explorers was pretty good. River Phoenix in that. Epic cast. There's Glory. Ghostbusters, For Your Eyes Only, Fly. I like the 80s Bond movies. Sean Connery came back with that Never Say Never, and I actually liked it. A lot of people didn't care for it, though. Indiana Jones. Golden Child. When the Golden Child first released in the theater, they showed a trailer for it, and the audience went crazy for that trailer that they had for it. Ishtar, which is a kind of messy film, but it's fun. This is just campy fun. That Jaws 3D. Mannequin, I kind of enjoy that a little bit. I like it. Mystic Pizza, Mr. Mom. Midnight Run, that's a classic comedy. I know a lot of people haven't got to see Midnight Run just yet. I don't think that many people have seen Midnight Run, with Robert De Niro and what's his face? Let's see if it'll click it before it clicks over. Charles Grodin. That's what it was. Charles Grodin, Robert De Niro, Dennis Farina. Well, he had a lot of good movies too. So those were some excellent films. Let me hit the live over here on the side. Yeah, I just want to check and make sure you guys can still see everything okay. And so that's where I was at with the 80s. I would think that there's some films that came out in the 80s um, that weren't that great to me, and I can check and see what I put on here. So let's look at the ones I've rated highly versus the ones I had down, and we'll see which ones you guys might remember. I'm going to go back into it from 1980. Sort by, we want to do my rating, highest first. Highest rating for me first, and then each of these ones being the ones I really like the Flight of the Navigator, excellent, fun for kids show movie. Pee Wee Herman, the voice, you know, Paul Reubens. Quantum Leap, 1989, excellent stuff. The first season of Simpsons was excellent. Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol, really classic stuff. Three Amigos, License to Kill, that over-the-top James Bond movie. Decalogue, I know a lot of people haven't seen Decalogue. Just really excellent stuff in there. Decalogue, it refers to a biblical title. RoboCop, 87, Amazing Stories. Tanner, 88, the political drama. So 1, 2, at least those two nobody's seen. No Way Out, not everybody's seen No Way Out. Really good. Based on a true story. This is actually based upon the story of how the Alphabet agencies were looking for Agent X, and that happened in real life. They were really looking for Agent X, and they couldn't figure out who he was and what information he had with him, because Agent X was at a very top high level, and he could speak. One mythology about Agent X is he knew both Mandarin and Russian, and then the other say he knew like 4 or 5 languages. So, but we really don't know who he was. But the individual called Agent X had this capability of blending in with everybody and stealing all kinds of secrets at the time. So if you ever watch that movie, you can just, maybe you'll remember that Jay said it was based on a true story, which it was, about the search for Agent X. Pretty cool film. I got high ratings on here too, which is what I gave it. Kevin Costner does an excellent job usually in his stuff, his films, and he's got one coming out soon called Horizon: The American Saga. Another one a lot of people have never seen is this Nostalgia, which is a Russian film from '83. Andrei Tarkovsky, and it's really excellent. It's just an excellent film. A lot of introspective stuff in all of Tarkovsky's work. So it's extremely slow burn stuff, but um, it's kind of like the Russian version of an Ingmar Bergman. If you guys, excuse me, watch any Bergman. Mm. Let me see what else I got. Sorry about that coughing. It came on all of a sudden. Hank Rassico in the building. Brian's Basketball's bouncing the show support. Appreciate you. If any of you guys want to jump in the StreamYard, I left it up on the chat so we can discuss the films if you want to. I got my StreamYard open over here. And just a plot line on nostalgia. It's about a poet traveling through Italy researching life. Oh, you know what's out right now and looks really good is that movie called Sight. It's a drama about a man in China that's trying to get out or trying to escape and come become a eye doctor. It had that look to it, like this kind of stuff I like. I like that kind of stuff where it's like um Night Crossing that came out in '82 or whatever. That's the kind of thing that's up my alley, is those movies that are kind of introspective and trying to get to different stuff. Midnight Run classic, Mr. Mom, another classic. Max Dugan returns. I adore this movie. It's just a really good drama to me. I loved it a lot watching it. Max Dugan returns, an English teacher, struggling single mom, and the father. They kind of have to get back on board with each other for a little bit. Matthew Broderick plays the child, and Brian Donald Sutherland plays the romantic interest, if you can believe it, right? And Joseph Robards plays Max Dugan, the estranged dad. Just that's a good movie right there for the sake of the drama and stuff. Way better than that Henry and Son, which was a big mess. We switch over here. So if you guys want to name any 1980s movies that I may or may not have seen or that you like, you can do so. You can put them up in the chat and let me know what 80s movies you like. And a reminder of that list I had up of the stuff that was like the harder to find film stuff that a lot of people have missed out on. Nostalgia, Decalogue, Tanner 88, Amazing Grace and Chuck, Threads, Testament, Without a Trace, King of Comedy, Prime Suspect, Chariots of Fire, Ordinary People. Now, these two are kind of like ones that a lot of people heard of because they were mentioned in the Oscars. But some of this other stuff people don't often know about. Thief, Come and See, Showa, The Dresser, and Baby It's You. Those are some good, solid ones. And then so many popular movies. So this is definitely why the 1980s is one of my favorite decades for movies and films. And on Father's Day, they're releasing this tomorrow at some theaters. It might be near yours. Field of Dreams will be back in the theater. I would love to go see Field of Dreams for Father's Day. That would be fun. This was one of the first computer animations from Pixar, Knick Knack, 1989. They had several others, but they were really getting advanced in '89. The Snowman was really good. Black Rain, Michael Douglas film Black Rain. It was super interesting. I really enjoyed it. A lot of excellent movies. Now let me check on what I had as some of the worst ones. Let me go down here and take a look. Page 6. We'll start showing the worst of them. All right, so all this stuff is stuff. It's not necessarily so. There's stuff on here that's not that bad, but there's other stuff on here that's kind of messed up. So it's just stuff I really don't care for watching anymore, or I don't like, or I watch too many times and I don't care for it anymore. Leonard Part 6, the Bill Cosby sci-fi comedy movie. This movie is terrible, absolutely horrendous. I feel I would not want to. Stripes, Blazing Saddles, Happy Gilmore, those are all good. The Vanishing, right? I'm glad he said that. The Vanishing. Caveman is a favorite of mine. You enjoyed Caveman? That's real good. I enjoyed watching the Caveman movie when it came. Well, yeah, it was an interesting movie. Another one that was really fun to watch. Valley Girl, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. All the classic teenage movies from the time. But Leonard Part 6, man, if you were unfortunate enough to watch this movie, I feel bad for you because this is a real rough watch. I did not like Leonard Part 6 at all. I couldn't take the Deadpool either. I'm a huge Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry fan, and the Deadpool was a real letdown. And it has some big star power too. It had early cameos from all kinds of big names in this too, in the Deadpool. No Holds Bar, another one that just Man, it was awful. It was. I thought it was gonna be like Hulk Hogan and all the gang just doing all kind of fun adventures and stuff like that, but it's really depressing movie. It's supposed to be funny, but it's like over the top violent at times, and other times it doesn't make any sense. Grease 2, this was hard to trudge through. Grease Part 2, it was not something I enjoyed. Howard the Duck I enjoy, but I just didn't think it was a good movie. I didn't think Last Temptation, and this is one of those ones I have on the film part of it. I didn't care for it, so that's why I got it. Street Trash is one of those type of um what is it? It's not one of those band types of films. It's just a gory kind of film from '87. But it's interesting. Das Boot is interesting a little bit, but it's just long winded. And then this one will get you all mad. I don't care for Princess Bride. I don't care for When Harry Met Sally. The shirt thing is interesting. It's okay, and I didn't care for any of this other stuff in through here. Uh, I'm burnt out on Cannonball Run. I watched the Cannonball Run series over and over again, and I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm completely burnt out on it. I didn't really care for Dudley Moore and most of his stuff. He wasn't really that funny half the time to me, and I really didn't like his Best Defense movie from '84. And Dirty Dancing, I gave it the 1.5 star because it's nowhere near as good as Baby It's You from '83. But nobody knows what Baby It's You is. But that end dance sequence, though, that end dance sequence is spectacular on Dirty Dancing. That's a really good scene. Let me see what the chat is saying. Uh, Awful. What was awful, Montoya? Grease 2 was awful, and I'm a huge fan of the original. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Grease Part 2 was hard to trudge through. I was looking at that like, oh, what am I getting into? Kentucky Fried Movie was okay. It wasn't spectacular. Gene Wilder definitely. Oh, the vacation movies were hilarious. I love the vacation movies. Silent Night, Deadly Night, and its sequels. Those are all pretty cornball, crazy stuff. That's why I got them with the 1.5. I don't do British humor. Uh, I don't do that. British humor escapes me most of the time. I'm sorry, y'all. So I know this is gonna rile up a lot of people, but British humor, not all the time. I'm a big fan of that. Mr. Bean is okay, but I like those other type of more. I like the old fashioned comedy like from the '50s, and I like the over the top in your face comedy from um, like Friday after next. And some of the other stuff that came out in the 2000s. Of course, there's a lot of '80s comedies that I really like Big and all that kind of stuff. That kind of falls along the lines of the old humor. Critters 2 was not as good as the first one. Not of This Earth, that was pretty messed up. Cyborg, I used to watch this a lot as a little kid. It's not even a good movie. And this one, Harry and Son. Now this is way better than the 2 star. I don't know why I give Raging Bull 2 stars. This is a mistake. Hold up, this is not right. Raging Bull is not. I'll give you 3 stars. Raging Bull. It should be 3.5. It's one of the better films that one. I know Vitaphone's a huge fan of the thing. I love the original too much. Burnt out on Beetlejuice, burnt out on Blue Velvet, but it doesn't have it. I don't know why it's got the 2 stars. I think that's an accident on the when I click down or something like that. Same thing with Amadeus. It's like, no, it's not supposed to be at the 2 star level ranking. I'm sorry about that. That's funny. And there's another one, Christmas Evil. It's just like this one. Look, they're both side by side and they're both terrible. The Santa Clauses with the axes killing everybody. Those were cornball stuff. And this one was worse, I think. Christmas Evil is worse than Silent Night, Deadly Night. And then there's the one. This is the one where he yells "Trash Man" in part 2 or part 3 or whatever. Alligator, when it first came out, was all the rage. A lot of people were talking about how good Alligator was. And you watch it though, it's not really good. They were trying to make it like it was the next Jaws. For any of you that remember any of that silly hysteria that happened, Random Rips was good. Paris, Texas. So Hank Razico bringing up another '80s classics, Repo Man and Paris, Texas. Yeah, Henry Dean Stanton. If you guys don't already know who that is, and just that guy's been in 10 million movies by now. Um, it's just one of those movies that I think is super fun to watch. Well, when you're looking for a classic movie that a lot of people may not have seen, then that definitely falls in line with those. Blade Runner is one of the best of the 80s. That's true. Blade Runner is definitely one of the best films of the 80s. I have it over here in my 80s stuff. Let me just where I go. Classic movies, and I want to click on 80s. This is my oops, I'm sorry, it's messing up. Folder. I'm gonna get into my folder real quick. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and well, it won't let me do it, I guess. I want to just look at the 80s films because I know I've got like the entire thing listed out in there. But it's kind of messing up, I guess, for whatever reason. Why is it messing up? I wonder if it went sideways. I think that's what it did. The thing that seems to have gone sideways. So I'll just open this back up and look in here. What else did we have? Oh, nobody's seen White Nights. Fortress was really good for a horror thriller movie. Runaway I liked because it had um, drones. It had the story about the drones. Firstborn I liked. It was another drama with Peter Weller. Missing was really good. Um, I was mostly, if it's good or if it's great, I just give it a 3 star. And if I didn't care for it, I give it a 1 star or 1.5. So that was kind of like my rationale for most stuff. And if it's something I enjoy watching over and over again, I give it the highest rating possible. If it's something I want to go back over and over again. So these are a lot of them. The Vanishing, which was already mentioned, is one of the best 80s. Cutter's Way is another one that not very many people have seen, which is a really good one from the 80s. So 80s is one of my favorite decades. What about you guys? Name off some of your favorite decades. 1980s to me is my quintessential favorite decade of movies. And I would say, going through that list that I had up there, um, it wasn't that many. It wasn't that many films from the 80s that I thought were that horrible. I know there was different ones that came out that weren't all that great, but it had a lot of wonderful stuff that came out there in the 80s that I've I've got to say was this my one of my favorite decades. Let me see what you guys say in the chat. Come and See is the greatest war movie. 1970s is my favorite decade. We get into the 70s. Now you're getting into the grime and the grittiness and oh man, the 1970s. Goodness. Every movie that came out was gritty, grimy, ultra realistic in a way. 1970. Silver Streak, great comedy. Godfather epic saga version. This is the complete novel version. It's the 4 or 5 hour. Heaven Can Wait, excellent comedy. They remade this several times. Superman, French Connection 1 and 2, excellent stuff. Rocky, more Godfather stuff. Duel from Spielberg, great. Now here's one that I got this on my list of stuff people haven't seen normally. Great Santini, one of the best films of '79. This is like over the top Top Gun type story. Okay, this is Robert Duvall and his son. And Robert Duvall he's like Maverick, but he's a bit of a jerk, and he's not connecting with his son because Robert Duvall, he's so used to having this competition of I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, that he even pushes that over on his son. So his son feels like I can't live up to my dad because he's just one of the best pilots out there, and he's just a super OG out there. Bam, 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 bam. Let's see. Not very many people caught that movie, I guess, because the reviewers over there on Letterboxd, they're really all over the place with their reviews. 2 nominations. They didn't even explain what they have going for the movie. But anyway, anytime you read those reviews, you're not they're like just people's thoughts off the bat, just like really quick, rather than them trying to put out together a review, which is kind of neat at the same time. It's kind of frustrating. Less Than Zero in the 80s. A movie called Less Than Zero? I don't recognize that. Let's look at it. Less Than Zero. I may know what that is, maybe. Maybe I know what this is. Am I on the right one? Let me see. Less Than Zero, 1987. And this is Robert Downey Jr. In Beverly Hills, you can have anything your heart wants. A college freshman returns. Out of control drug habit. Hey, that movie sounds kind of G'd up. I don't remember if I saw this or not. That movie sounds fun. Good color, music, good acting. Slay, sad, serve. What the heck? And people just say random stuff on here. Okay, so look at this. Add to the watch list. I'll add that to my watch list because I don't think I've seen Less Than Zero. So you're bringing up a movie I don't think I've watched. I watched a lot of stuff. You guys know Cutter's Way? It's another 1981. This is a pretty good movie. It's interesting. Interesting movie. Cutter's Way. You guys got to check it out. Jeff Bridges, John Hurd. It's got a lot of good reviews going for it. And it's a bit dramatic. Oh, back to the other page. 1970s era. What else do we have? Oops, I'm going too fast. Sorry about that. Star Wars, one of my favorite epics. Solaris, the original version. It's real introspective. So if you guys haven't watched it, it's a long, it can be long process to try to capture everything that's going on in this movie. It's foreign language though, subtitles. But boy, is it excellent once you catch on what's going on with it. If you give it a try, it's one of the best movies ever. Let me check and see if anyone jumped in the streams. Great performance by John Hurd. Excellent. Yeah, that's right. John Hurd did a fantastic job in that one. And we got Day for Night. This is a ode. This is one of those odes to cinema type movies. Day for Night is about how they use how when you're making a film, you might have to go out and start filming the film at daytime, but then darken the screen later and say that your characters were all at night because you might just not get to do it like that. So this is a film that probably inspired Wes Anderson as a filmmaker, I would guess, and it's a Francois Truffaut film, I believe. Let's check and see. It's got to be Francois Truffaut, right? There he is. That looks like Truffaut to me. Francois Truffaut. I don't think anyone give it any bad ratings. 42 bad ratings. A couple of people did, but it was a minuscule amount of people. There's a lot of people watching movies over here. The original Amityville Horror was really creepy stuff. Sorcerer, the one where the vehicle goes, it's kind of like a remake of High and Low and other stuff, but it's really good. Logan's Run, Dystopian. Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, 1976. This is the Jodie Foster movie, and it is creepy as heck. This is a super creepy movie. So she's like living by herself, and it's kind of like a noir thriller type stuff. And it says the tagline says, "Ask her no questions, she'll tell you no lies. Ask her too many, and somebody dies." So she stays by herself, and this Martin Sheen plays a creepy weirdo who keeps coming around asking her what's going on. And he was super scary in that. I mean, super creepy in that. You know what I mean? Just being a complete weirdo in that movie. So, pretty good stuff. You like Tarkovsky. I like Jacqueline Biscuit. Tarkovsky, and I haven't seen it. I've seen it several times. I love Jacqueline Biscuit. Okay. Bassett. Jacqueline Bisset. Yeah, from Solaris. Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane was super creepy. If you guys haven't seen that, you might want to check it out sometime. Let's see. This is the one, right? I'm all mixed up. I'm all mixed up. Montoya. What movie was seeing? Was it Logan's Run? Oh, I'm all mixed up. Michael York was really good in here. They put it on a PG rating back in the day. It would be PG-13 or R today, I would guess. The characters are naked in that one. Soylent Green, Death on the Nile, Death Wish, Towering Inferno, Omega Man, Jesus of Nazareth, French Connection 2, World. Oh man, have y'all seen this World on a Wire? This is like the original version of the Matrix right there. Just oh man, really good stuff. World on a Wire. The Visitor, another movie. So 70s, as you can see in the 70s, like everything is kind of like edgy and dark. And this is, everything changed because of George Lucas's Star Wars. This 77 Star Wars changed the landscape of movies forever. Um, Back in the 70s, you also had, I'm correct in saying The Exorcist was out in the 70s, right? The Exorcist, I would think, was the first blockbuster in 71, I believe. And then came along Jaws years later in 75 or something like that, right? And then, let's see where Jaws is at. Jaws, 75. So yeah, Exorcist came first, then Jaws, then Close Encounters of the Third Kind, um, and of course Star Wars. But the thing that really changed the landscape of movies was George Lucas's Star Wars because it was upbeat. It wasn't a down and out depressing movie. It didn't have gritty realism to it. It was not. It wasn't a movie that was gonna leave you feeling like you had gone through a couple things, like Autumn Sonata or any of these other movies. All the movies that came out in the 70s, I can't think of any that were just happy, upbeat movies. If you know of a happy, upbeat, to me, not even Bad News Bears was happy and upbeat. It had a layer of like depressing something realism to it. Uh, this one, Saturday Night Fever, is rated R. It's real dramatic. It had great music in it, but it was, about someone that was, trying to put on front in a way. He's trying to be himself, but he was going through a lot of things. Aristocats is Young Frankenstein, Wicker Man, Close Encounters, Phase 4, King Kong Remake, Mechanic. You guys name off some 70s stuff. I might be skipping over it. I always thought Matrix ripped off Dark City. Yeah, Dark City. Yeah, oh man, that movie I just mentioned, that World on a Wire, that gets in, like, it's just a drama, but it gets into the whole subject of what the those other movies are, or the 13th Floor. It also has, yeah, those movies have dark, depressing thoughts to them, don't they? Martin Sheen, Leonard, Sweet Hostage. Let me take a look and see what Sweet Hostage looks like real quick. Let's take a look at it. So the 70s era was great for gritty realism and dark humor and satire and all that, right? Let me see. What was the movie that we're going to look up called Sweet Hostage? Let me make sure I was spelling it right. Let's check it out. 75. So I got to add this to my list because I don't think it sounds familiar. Let me read about it a little bit. Linda Blair, Martin Sheen. Captured a girl, he unleashed a woman. Oh, no, I've not seen this. So let me go ahead and click this watch list. Unless I haven't, I've completely forgot it. It sounds freaking creepy. Just like the 1970s stuff. All uh, all dark. All dark stuff in the 70s. Oh, what's that? I'm trying to give me a headache. Let's go back in the 70s and look. All right, let's look at this year. 76. Let's take a look at 1976. You had Taxi Driver, another dark film, right? Taxi Driver, Carrie, Rocky. What is this one? Network. Network. All the presidents. These, oh man, I'm not even get started on all the prisons, man. The Omen. Who is this Mikey and Nikki? Hold up. I don't know this movie from Adam, I don't think. I know Assault on Precinct 13, The Man Who Fell to Earth. It's a David Bowie joint, isn't it? The Tenant. Let me double check just to make sure. Yeah, David Bowie. Yeah, I knew it. Face to Face. I might have to look that one up. I'm not sure if I know that one. But this one I want to take a look at right now because I don't recognize it. Is that what's his face again? Peter Falk. This sounds good. I'm gonna have to check this out. Adding it to my watch list. I don't think I've ever seen this one. Did you guys watch this? Mickey and Nikki. All right, thanks, Hank Resico. Appreciate it. All those were intense movies. Yeah, they couldn't release this movie today. Doctor Strangelove came out in the 60s, right? Hey, what's going on? Let me get you your wrench. Good to have you here. Yeah, Doctor Strangelove came out in the 60s. Let's go look at that real quick. Doctor Strangelove, Peter Sellers. That was 1960s, wasn't it? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Let me check and see. Where is it at? There it is. Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, 1964. See, that's a 64 movie right there. Stanley Kubrick. Has a lot of love for it. I didn't enjoy it that much. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was good. And every time I hit these movies up, if I think it's good, but what I'm not going to watch over and over again, I'll just hit it with the 3 stars and keep it moving. And then if it's bad, it's going to get that 1 star, 1.5 star. If it's completely unwatchable for me, I got to hit it with that half a star. And I had a bunch of movies on my half a star list because I've seen some real rotten movies like that. Leonard Part 6 with Bill Cosby. That was an awful experience. So, Strangelove was 64. Let me check and see if anyone was in the backstage. Nope, no one's jumping in. That's okay. I appreciate you, Hank Resico, for coming through the channel. The satire of this movie is way ahead of its time. You know it. The satire in Doctor Strangelove is way ahead of its time. 1960s. So Mickey and Nikki from 76. I got to watch that next. What else we got in here that I may have missed? I knew about all these Outlaw Josie Wells. I've already seen that. I've seen King Kong. What the world has God told me to? Is it going to be something crazy? What is this? This one will give you nightmares forever. A repressed Catholic uncovers a deranged faith in alien insemination. Boy, they took the Rosemary's Baby and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It sounds like it mixed it all into one movie. I don't know. Have I seen it though? I watched a lot of. I don't know. I may have seen it and just forgot. I guess I'm gonna have to click add to my watch list so I can rediscover it if I haven't already. There's definitely one I'll just be watching without the kids coming around because I want to make sure they're not seeing anything crazy. Or like, oh no, don't look at this. Burnt Offerings. Good night, 1970s. Did you have any nice, happy movies? Again, this wasn't even nice or happy. This Bugsy Malone movie is with kids dressed up as the gangsters and stuff. With children. That's Scott Baio, I think, and Jodie Foster playing the part of gangsters. It's this crazy decade. Like that's like the baby burlesques from the 1930s, but reinvented into the 1970s. Marathon Man, another conspiracy movie, pretty good stuff. Killing of a Chinese Bookie. Oh, that was. I think I remember that. Harlan County, USA, asterisk. Man, you can't find any just um nope. There's Silver Streak is about as close as you're gonna get maybe to a nice, happy, relaxing movie back in the 70s. Oh, Small Change, Francois Truffaut, blah. Let me see what the chat's got to say. Everyone was off coke. Not the 70s, man, just dark and depressing. It was a time for realism though, so I like the 70s. It's just if I was wanting to watch Planet of the Apes isn't it. None of these movies are it. Basically, if I was wanting to watch something that was just laid back entertainment that you might be able to find something like that on television. But if you're heading to the theater, every time you go to the theater, you'd be coming out there feeling like you just went through a couple things. I was like, when that movie Sound of Freedom came out, that was a rough experience. So imagine a decade where every movie is at the level of intensity and grittiness as a film like that, and just you have to watch. If you want to go to the theater, that's the type of movies you're gonna be watching. It's gonna be horror. It's gonna be grimy, um, gritty. All the taboo subjects, all the crazy stuff that they went through. There's a lot of that. I think Paper Moon was back then too. Man on the Roof. This stuff gets real. All right, that was the 70s. Let me hit it. What's the decade you want me to look at next, y'all? Hard to find a feel good movie in the 70s. Man, you said it. There are no feel good movies in the 70s. Is Future World a feel good movie? You watching that and everyone starts getting shot and killed and bullets all in them? I don't even think like the Disney stuff that was coming out at the time was depressing. Like the Candle and the Watch, was it the Watcher in the Woods and the Candlestick Mansion and some other stuff from Disney was all really super depressing. That was like the level of like Black Cauldron and things like that. It wasn't any kids movies that were relaxing back then. Nothing was nothing was up nothing at all. Let's get to another decade real quick. But I love the 70s though. It was a We'll never get to see so much gritty realism ever again. And it's probably a good thing. Hopefully everyone got it out of their system in the 70s. We're going to hit up the 90s. Let's hit up the 90s because why not? Bam. 90s. All the stuff that everyone loves. Obviously, this is all the stuff that a lot of people are fanatical about. The 90s. Fight Club, Pulp Fiction. I love Truman Show. Forrest Gump, Seven, Silence of the Lambs, 10 Things I Hate About You, Matrix, Shawshank, Good Will Hunting, Titanic, Goodfellas. What's this one? Perfect Blue was the anime. Fargo. Let me know in the chat what your favorite film in the 90s was. Witches and Warlocks, Montoya. That's what stuff had in it, wasn't it? Scream. This was a good movie though. Scream, I enjoyed it. I went on. What was it that long ago? Scream was 96. Goodness. 1996. I went to um I was in school in 96. I was a little kid. Usual Suspects, Groundhog Day, Terminator 2, Pretty Woman. Julia Roberts owned the 90s as the female actress, didn't she? Notting Hill, Pretty Woman. She was in a ton of stuff back in then. Oh, Lindsay Lohan was the little girl at the time when The Parent Trap came out. American History X. There's Ed Norton. This guy is he's the cousin of what's his name? I always want to say John Wilkes Booth. Who's the guy that went after Kennedy? It's not John Wilkes Booth. Edward Norton is his cousin. What's that guy's name? Chat, help me out. A Century just ended like that. 99. Look at that first film on the list. Yeah, 1999 was crazy good. Crazy good times. I think the babies are wanting daddy to come show them something. So I'm going to wrap up here in a little bit. Let me see. Rushmore, Thelma and Louise, the first Mission Impossible, Romeo and Juliet. I think I got this on VHS tape right now. Life is Beautiful, Blair Witch, Aladdin. Oh, you know what? I have Dazed and Confused. I think I have it on DVD, maybe, and I haven't ever watched it. So I've never seen this Dazed and Confused, and I need to check it out sometime. Maybe. Of all the movies I haven't seen, I've not seen Dazed and Confused. I'm going to go into my wish list thing here real quick and check and see what I got left in there. Because I know that if you guys have been keeping track of your movies, I like using Letterboxd because this is a good way to check through all the stuff that I watched or you guys watch, and then you can keep track of it really pretty easy. I enjoy using it. It's been fun for me. I'm glad that the Vitaphone showed me about it. Last name, Botha changed to what for the assassination? Oh, Botha to Booth. Lee Harvey. That was it. Thank you. The Hank McCoy show bailing me out over here. Lee Harvey is who Edward Norton resembles slightly, right? Just slightly. And he is his cousin, the same way that Hinckley was like a fifth or sixth cousin of Bush, who he met with. I think he was meeting with the Bush family prior to going after Reagan. And now he's on YouTube making some music because they let him out. But they didn't let out Saran Saran because Saran Saran was not related to Bush or the other guys. So there's your tinfoil kufi on tight take while I'm looking at the movies. Cape Fear. It was all right. Did you guys like Cape Fear? Did you guys think Cape Fear was all it was cracked up to be? Now it was a remake. What was the original Cape Fear called? Was it also Cape Fear? Because I recall vaguely watching both of them. I want to double check to see. Cape Fear from '62. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the original one, the '62. These reviews are funny. I want to go and check and see. I'd like to watch it again. Mitchum was in the Night of the Hunter. A lot of people like Night of the Hunter a lot too. But Robert Mitchum was a really solid actor. Really solid. I liked all the stuff he was in. You liked the original? It was more intense. Again, an Academy Award for Emma. For what movie? What's KOK? What's that? I don't know the abbreviation. What would KOK be? It wasn't King of Cups. That's with a C. What the heck is KOK? Upright King of Cups. Oh, Knight of Cups was that movie that came out a little while ago, right? But you're not talking about that. Let me know in the chat what you're talking about. Knight of Cups. How come it doesn't show Knight of Cups on here? I thought that was the correct spelling. Oh, yeah, there it is from 2015. But I know that's not what you're talking about, though. This is the Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, It's an esoteric movie if you want to watch something that's esoteric and introspective. Terry Malick. Okay, yeah, Terry Malick. A Quest. So if you wanted to watch something that was kind of up in those lines, you'd want to go check that. Oh, Kinds of Kindness. Off the bat, I've got to say I didn't have much interest in checking out Kinds of Kindness, but I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. Yeah, from what I was thinking, I wasn't planning on watching it. I know they're advertising it all over Letterbox right now, but I'm not planning on watching it just yet. So I think I'll just wait. Probably I'll wait until it comes out on streaming, and then I'll check it out. But for right now, I don't know if that I'm hyped up for it. I'm I'm not looking forward to it. So, but I also didn't know anything about that site, and I just watched the Watchers. Let me put in this one. Was it called the Watchers? Watchers. Let's see if this pulls it up or not. Yeah, this is it. Watchers from 2024. Did I list it already? Oh, there I did. But I didn't make a review for it. That's just it. I don't think. The Watchers. So the new M Night Shyamalan. Yeah, it's directed by the daughter, but basically it had M Night Shyamalan all over it. I was expecting M Night Shyamalan to show up at any second and say something. So it's good. It's not spectacular. What Collector Man saw it? I thought the movie was pretty good, interesting story. Oh, okay. That was a lot of different stuff. Watchers. So she goes out into the woods and there's these mysterious creatures. She starts interacting with them. I like the environment of everything that they set up with this movie. It was really intense. It's kind of like kept you on the edge of your seat. And it's always interesting when M. Night Shyamalan makes a movie, right? It's always got that interesting factor to it to where you're sitting there thinking, I wonder what's going to happen next. And it was nice like that. So I definitely need to make a little quick review of The Watchers. I need to make a quick review of supposed to have Canon Hotep jump in here with me earlier too, but I think he's busy. Let me text Canon real quick and see if he wanted to knock this out tonight or if he wants to me to come on his channel sometime. He's probably busy. What is tonight? It's Saturday, right? I'm texting Canon right now to see if he wanted to jump on and discuss his reaction to. I think he went to go see The Watchers, and I think he went to go see um, what was the other one? Bad Boys. Bad Boys 4. That was what. Let me text him real quick and see what he says. Man, my phone's been messing up lately with the. So when I watched The Watchers, the movie theater had a lot of different people in it, but it was mostly like teenagers coming to go watch it. So it was a lot of teens in there coming to check out Shyamalan's newest feature. Let me see what y'all said. Upcoming Yogas for Her is good, but nothing exceptional. It's the daughter, right? Directing The Watchers. Yeah, it's the daughter, but basically it's got M. Night Shyamalan's fingerprints all over it. It's like, yeah, it's the daughter directing it, but basically it's M. Night. It's no different from anything we've ever seen from M. Night. So whether she's copying beat for beat, I really just think it's like, since he's producing it too, I really feel like it is it's another M. Night Shyamalan movie, basically. All right, so I'll text Ken and we'll see what he says. All right, so then the other new one that just came out was Inside Out Part 2. Again, another, I think it's going to be good. I'm going to watch it, so I'll come back with my view on that. I'm not going to say off the bat what I think it's going to be like because I haven't got to see it just yet. Inside Out 2, though, I'm going to look at it and see what it's all about. Let me see. Oh, well, Hitman. Hitman is like this starring vehicle for Glenn Powell. They're basically making him into the next Tom Cruise or something like that. They are hyping him up as the big man. Uh, there he is, Glenn Powell. And here's his movie, Hitman. This movie that just came out. And everyone went crazy for it, pretty much. A lot of people went real crazy for it. And it's one of those movies that's trying to showcase his range. And that's what it starts off with in the movie. When they say, can you believe this guy's range? I think one of the characters says that. They show him going from all kinds of different styles in this movie. So this movie is like built around Glenn Powell to showcase what kind of an actor he is, to show you that he can be Christian Bale-esque, he can be Steven Seagal, he can be, a romantic lead, he can be timid and shy, nerdy. They're showing all these different styles because he's becoming and assuming all these different characters in the movie. And that's what they want to get across to us, that we should start recognizing Glenn Powell as the next big name. And I feel like this push is coming after they pushed Jonathan Majors, and then they got Jonathan Majors out of the paint, and they're now bringing in a different star to make a huge star out of him, and that's Glenn Powell. So maybe he's the cousin of one of the people in charge of Hollywood. I don't know. We will probably find that out later on down the road. Not to say that he doesn't have his talents, but they're sure going overboard and trying to showcase that he's the next big thing. And you even got the Summer of Cinema Pluto ad, and there you see Leonardo, you see Tom Cruise, you see Harrison Ford, and here you got the next big name, Glenn Powell. Can you believe it? So that's where we're at. They're trying to push him. Timothée Chalamet, Glenn Powell. There's the guys that Hollywood is making into the next big thing going forward for us. That's what they're doing with them, right? I'm excited for the next M. Night Shyamalan. Didn't know Glenn co-wrote the screenplay. He can be Michael Fassbender. Man. So if you haven't watched Hitman, it's rated R. It's a good little story. So I'm surprised. I'm kind of super surprised about the overhype that we're seeing for this movie. That a lot of people have made over this movie, and maybe a lot of it's could be paid. Maybe some people are being paid to hype it up so heavily because they're trying to make Glenn Powell into such a huge name. And we'll take a look real quick at the Glenn Powell trajectory, right? He's in hit after hit. He is in hit after hit, and here he is opposite of Jonathan Majors, and that's what I was saying. They got rid of Jonathan Majors, and they've brought in Glenn Powell. I feel like he's the replacement for Jonathan Majors. I feel like going forward they're going to have him as the star of a lot of different things. Tom Cruise movie, Top Gun Maverick, and then Glenn Powell's in that. This romance thing with Sweeney, who they're trying to promote Sweeney as a big star. Dark Knight Rises, he was in that as a traitor. John Glenn in Hidden Figures. Hitman that just came out. Long Fingered Boy and Spy Kids. Set It Up. So he's been in one hit after the next, right? Twisters, he's even in that. I guess he's still going to be the main star in the Twister Part 2. So there you go. I think Haley Joel Osment, he's starring in another movie with him later on down the line. Or he's going to. He's getting ready to. So Glenn Powell taking over Hollywood. Becoming a huge star for it. See what the chat's got to say. Sounds like control chaos in Hollywood. Yeah, you get rid of Jonathan Majors and you bring in Glenn Powell. He's probably going to be in these Marvel and superhero movies, what they have left of them, or the video game genre, because the video game genre is taking over right now, and that's what we're getting ready to see, is video game after video game film. All right, y'all. So it's been fun. he did what he could as an actor. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I didn't hear back from Cannon. I guess he's busy. If he gets unbusy later and he wants to jump in or whatever, I'll be back to talk stuff as well. So I appreciate you guys for coming through. Have a great night. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I'm gonna go catch up on this. You can see over my shoulder, I'm watching the boxing match. I need to go order some pizza and get this drink going that I had. I was gonna make a little something non-alcoholic for myself with some ice cubes and stuff, and say sit there and enjoy my fights and see what the kids have got for their daddy. So appreciate you guys for coming through. God bless. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on the swivel. Y'all take care. Bye.